And we're live. Okay. Hello, everybody. We are very excited to greet you on our live webinar called 2025 Playbook for scaling brokerage operations without losing control on risk. Thank you so much for joining us. And today's event is brought to you by Brokerpilot and Fotmarkets. Brokerpilot is a international software company bringing risk management and real-time trade monitoring solutions for brokerage firms. And we have Fotmarkets today, one of my favorite customers here, which is an international multi-asset brokerage firm, fast growing. And I would like to introduce Loe Lobo and Lucas Quadros today from Fotmarkets. Loe Lobo, CTO of Fotmarkets. And, actually, this guy has been in IT for 35 years. He started his first applications from 8 years old, and now he's building a multinational fintech company. If you would ever want to wondered how success looks like, he's sitting right there. So that's the face of success. So he's very passionate about technology, and we are very glad to have you here and talk with us today, Loe. And also, we have Lucas Quadros. He's responsible for dealing operations at Fotmarkets. He's a certified financial advisor. He's an expert in financial analysis, risk, and he's doing a great job in handling complex dealing operations at Fotmarkets. So I'll give you also a round of introduction from Brokerpilot. We have lovely Ina Solar here, responsible for business development. For our LinkedIn audience, you probably know Ina from her messages on LinkedIn to your DMs. And so if you would like to just so this is Ina, and you
Hi
have the
guys.
opportunity to ask her any question today in the comments in the live chat. So we will be also answering your questions in the live chat. And
Sure,
I
yeah, thank
myself,
you. Yeah,
thanks.
thank you,
Yeah,
Sergei. Yeah, sure. So, first of all, guys, Loy, you were 8 years old when you developed the first software. This is like, wow, and Lucas, certified financial advisor. Guys, we are working with genius. Thank you so
yeah.
much for being here. For me, the boring part, I'm more than 10 years leading SaaS implementation that boosts revenue, tighten risk, and deliver results. Friends call me international woman, as I seem to connect with anyone, maybe because I'm charming, who knows. And when I don't sell, you probably find me playing gong meditations and Tibetan bowls, and I also teach and do Kundalini yoga. So, humble introduction about me. Thank you so much, Sergey. Welcome to our webinar, and yeah, please.
Thanks, Ina. Yeah, all Broker Pilot employees knows about Gong meditations now recently. So let's. I'll just give a. I myself, Sergei Berezhnoy, I'm responsible for sales and marketing at Broker Pilot, and I will be your host today on the live event, on our live event. And so we very hope that our audience will benefit from all the insights that we will be speaking about today, about scaling brokerage operations, about dealing with instability on the market. And we have these two topics today. Let's jump in. Well, maybe our first topic is going to be about the instability on the markets that we see in 2024 and 2025, especially because there's a lot of political events going on, and even Twitter became some, um, uh, even tweets became one of the reasons on very sharp spikes in the market on price. So guys, so Lucas, how do you how does Fotmarket experience market volatility and instability in 2024 and especially in 2025?
Okay, and nice to meet you guys. Thank you for having us. That's a pleasure to be here, first of all.
Pleasure for us as well.
Yes, for us on 2024 was pretty steady. Was a good year for us. We are a quite new broker, so 2024 was good for us. We will start our operations? We have a stable market, but we all know that U.S. elections at the end of 2024 brought a little bit of volatility for us. Yes, we have the Trump effect and everything going on there. And then, of course, 2025 is being a roller coaster for us because it's always Trump, the Trump effect going on. So always new tariffs, new things on commercial war, Israel, Ukraine, Iran, a lot of stuff going on in the world that brought unexpected volatility for everyone, right? So that's a really challenge, a really difficult situation for brokers to be in. So yeah, 2025 until now is being a really challenge for us because that's a lot of volatility and you never know what's going to happen. Maybe when we are talking here, Trump is tweeting something that the market will crash or going up the 3%. So we never know, right? So yeah, that's what is happening for us and for everyone in the industry as well, right?
That's certainly giving you a lot of experience, and you guys are very lucky to start from a very flat and calm year, and now you're gaining a lot of experience on the instability in 2025, making you a stronger business as you are right now, multi-asset business, international business. That's giving you the strength to move forward. But I would like to just ask you, what are the tools and strategies that help you manage those spikes in the market, and how do you save your P&L there?
Okay, yes, we do have in our setup some filters and some uh, tools that help us to minimize this kind of effects. So we do have like code filtering. So if a feed comes with a very that deviates from the previous bid and ask range, like we have the defined threshold to go with, but and then that tick is not transmitted for the client, so we like cancel that feed information because it will create a one spike and then will probably trigger all these stop losses and take profits and will create a huge mess. So we try to filter this and transmit to the clients a more stable pricing, right? But always it's always unpredictable, of course. And then if spikes happen, we have to manually review everything. The dealing operation risk team have to do root analysis on what happened and what the system did and what they didn't, for us to adjust for the next opportunity to not happen this kind of thing. And then of course, if some spike happened like 1 second or another that trigger everything and then clients were affected, we have to be very transparent with clients that saying that some system issue or some feed happened, and then we have to communicate with the clients and explain the situation. And then if the situation asks, we have to adjust the fields to maintain fairness, because that is what we have to do, because it's always to be the fair as possible with the client. That is one of our main goals here in
Right.
Fotmarkets, always to be fair with the clients. So if something happen, we will adjust and then deliver the best services possible, always
Yeah,
maintaining the client trust. It's very important for us.
very important. Of
Sure.
course, yeah. In order to have a diversified international business, you have to maintain trust with the customer and give them the expectations on the trading experience that you are delivering to them. And yeah, that's a very solid, armor. It sounds like you have an armor that protects your P&L on that. So, but what does I know, Lucas, you're playing with and you're working with your dealing team, and could you please tell us, how the dealing team roles play into contributing to this instability, and how do you manage that in your team?
For sure, yeah. The dealing team is always looking for the trading flow, the overall exposure, individual exposure, symbols, all the instruments, all the price anomalies that can arise. So also in constant communication with the LPs, the liquid providers, technology providers, everything to ensure that the service is stable, even though we have volatility events, the economic data releases, all this kind of stuff. But we have to ensure that our service is stable, and then no problem will arise for the clients, right? So then the dealing team, if something goes wrong, as I said in the previous answer, they have to do all this analysis and the routine to see if which system fails and what can we do to improve it for the next time to not have it again,
Right,
right?
right.
So it's they have to do it as quick as possible, because we know that's a fast market environment, so they have to act accordingly to solve it as soon as possible if something wrong occurs. But we are working to not have to do that, because we are working on the safe side first to not have problems. So that's the main thing for the dealing team to do, to avoid these problems, and always communicating with our partners to ensure that the best service will be delivered.
Wonderful.
Um,
Oh,
Thank
sorry.
you so much, Lucas. Yes, that's actually wonderful. It's basically a mixture of tech, of highly skilled people, and you're protecting your P&L from that instability and gaining experience and gaining operational strength, and then you're delivering transparency and trust to the end customer. That's very impressive, and I believe that, hey, these guys are working for, like, started 2024, and they're already um, having a solid tech set and a solid team to grow. So I think, Ina, let's go into the theme of scaling your brokerage operations worldwide. Once a brokerage firm has a set of tools to protect themselves from those spikes, let's speak about growth, because I know that brokerage firms all over the world, they succeed from scaling internationally, because you can't just play like in one region. You have to diversify your operations worldwide. Let's speak about this.
Sure, sure, Sergey. Indeed, I absolutely agree. And when we back to your challenges, let's say you've mentioned that besides like volatility and political instability, yeah, we all faced and we all live in this turbulence world. Maybe, Loe, I don't know, what other challenges did you face scaling operations across maybe regions or across multiple platforms, or I don't know, and maybe you could give us any advice for how was the 2024 and what is the difference between 2025?
Yeah, for sure. First of all, thank you very much for having us here. It's a pleasure. You know, scaling globally from a forex broker perspective is a bit of challenge. Every region has its own specific differences. Every region has their own differences which can impact on how we approach those customers and what, how communication styles are different between regions. And mainly, we have to be aware of our um, um, regulatory access, right? We do have a license, and that license allows us to work global.
Sure.
But we have to be aware of which country we are dealing with,
Absolutely.
and we need to be always clear on the approach on that country.
Yeah.
So our intent is to be always compliant. So we start with a compliance perspective first, and then we start to check what we need to do to get into that market. Um, one of the things that is very complicated when you're scaling and trying to get more countries is how you approach the customers. Um, Usually, the countries have different communication styles, which then brings, complications to how you deal with the emails or how you deal with your communication strategy to that customers. Um, and one thing that we try, and we were doing that, is to always process our AMLs. We do our QIC very honestly. Our QAC is very strict. We have a very good onboarding process, and because we need to meet our international standards, and that requires a bunch of um, organization between our teams, our legal team, our commercial team, IT, risk. Every team needs to be together on this journey to be able to identify the problems we have with each country and the differences each country offers to us. One of the things that is still a complicated landscape to walk through is the payment processing. If every country has their own type of payment processing. So we get, like, on the EU, for instance, SEPA is a very common way of making banking transfers
Sure. I
and
see.
credit card payments or bank card payments. But you don't have that same facility on different countries, like Chile in Latin, or you do have, for instance, in Brazil, you have a PIX payment, which is very fast and very simple. But every country offers a different way, and integrating and making sure that every client is served with the best payment process approach is something very complicated. And one of the things that doesn't help us as a new broker as well is, like, since we are new in the market, getting contracts with, like, big companies as Visa or Master to be,
Like reliable partners, right?
it's complicated to find reliable partners like that.
I see. I see.
But we are on the way, and that's one of our strategies for this year now, is to get to these big partners and make sure we offer stable payment processing for our clients worldwide.
I see. I see. Thank you.
That
So
that's a
yeah,
good feedback for payment providers in the market
yeah.
there.
Yeah, it was actually, you read my mind. Yeah. Okay. So, of course, you faced with regulatory risks, payment processing, landscaping, compliance, etc. And of course, like we all know, because we work in Brokerpilot, that risk system is the crucial tool for brokerage firms, right? So what I'm curious about, like, of course, we know what kind of risk system you use for now, right? How do you manage risk data from multiple systems? I mean, and maybe what certain risks are you facing? If you can share, of course, if it's not like a secret, maybe you have some common issues which you are facing lately and they're like super different, but it's up to you to share. I don't know, Loe, Lucas, who would like to answer this
I
question?
think Lucas can take this one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we do for sure have monitoring risk systems in place, right? It's crucial for every broker to have one, to have a centralized risk platform, and then this is one of the things that will help you a lot on managing your risk through the multiple systems, because you have one centralized platform, because you can see everything going on in one single place. That's is so much easier than to do in different systems, all the trading platform and your bridge or whatever it is. So it is very good to have, and then this kind of system that we have in place, and then it's really useful, and then every broker will have a good opportunity if you have this kind of system in place, because it will help you to save time for sure. And then time is money also in this industry, of course. The time is money in every industry, but here every milliseconds or seconds market moving, you can lose loads of money. So yeah, it's also help to manage individual accounts, our overall exposure. It's really useful too. And then of course, it having this centralized risk platform that can aggregate all the trading flow, all the P&L, all the exposure data, and then we see it through like dashboards and real-time alerts. It for sure contributes for our dealing team and dealing desk, risk team, and what else. Use that for spot even some anomalies across the trading system. And as I said, we don't need to switch between one and another. It's really useful. And another stuff that it's really important for all the brokers out there, it's the reconciliation process. Reconciliation is very important. And then even though you have a lot of systems in place, automatic maybe reconciliations systems or procedures, but the human being looking at everything, it's a part of our dealing desk operations to do this kind of reconciliation, to check if all the clients exposure match with our exposure, and to see if all our internal data that we have match with the external data that we have, the LPs and the other technology providers. So this kind of again, this kind of reconciliation process is really important to ensure that all the internal risk mirrors exactly our external exposure. And then if you have a mismatch and then it's not noticed from your for your dealing team, it can be really costly for you. All the mismatches have to be identified and corrected as soon as possible.
Sure. It makes sense. Yeah, thank you so much, Lucas. So, by the way, like speaking of the exposure, how do you manage the exposure across maybe countries, all servers, and just like curious, how you asset classes while ensuring your teams can scale smoothly and avoiding overexposure? Maybe if you could be kind and share some secrets.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of I think a continuation for my previous answer, because again, having a centralized risk system that shows you all that information in one place, and then also shows how you are exposure in different countries, different regions, even different parts of that country, or you are tackling a specific places on your market team or your commercial side. Talking also about the regulatory stuff that Loe brought before. So we have to be really careful when scaling, because all the differences in the different countries. Some of them are more sensitive zones because geopolitical stuffs, and then commercial agreements, economic situation. So what we do is we have all this data in place. So I am a very data-driven guy, so that's why I'm talking about a lot of data, because I think the dealing teams have to add all the data and analyze and take actions based on the data. It's not based on your mind and based on whatever you want to do. It's based on what is happening and what actions you have to do. So having everything in place and all the data that you will collect from your overall exposure, the dealing team can also make necessary actions. Sometimes the most used one, of course, is do the hedging that you have to do if you are overexposure in some instrument or some countries. So we also do as well a dynamic leverage on certain instruments to prevent clients from piling up orders, too much orders at the end of the day on the market opening, or to avoid clients to create a big, huge exposure on earning sessions, or this kind of stuff is really important for everyone to look at. It's another thing that I always look into the margin requirements. So if you the symbols that probably will have more volatility on the next day or the following day, whatever, you maybe adjust the leverage and volatility to match that, balance that out, to not be overexposure. That is a really important thing. So what we do as well, it's all the asset classes are reviewed constantly by our risk team and dealing team to see how they are performing, the P&L, the exposure trends that we have. So all this kind of stuff, as I mentioned already. So it's being collected the data and then to take action to maximize our P&L or prevent to have a huge problem for us if you are, of course, overexposure in some part, some symbol, some specific region. So that's what we do, and then of course the risk team are doing a great job on that, for sure.
So I believe you are the man who is sitting in front of many dashboards, including geographic exposure maps, like showing P&L, open exposure conciliation, etc. So, and then you make smart decisions how to hedge the positions, etc. Right?
Yeah. Someone has to do it, right? So
Absolutely.
so that's the thing. It's important to have this human oversight of everything, because I know the systems are good, but of course you have someone has to make the decision to take what to do, how to do, when to do. So that's a really important part of the job, right?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you that human involvement is important in this, in this market, because whenever we would like to rely on AI, but definitely it's not a case right now. There is need to be a human involvement for sure. So great, thank you so much for your reply. So then we spoke about challenges, right, which you're facing. What I would like to, what I'm curious to know about is marketing strategies, let's say. Are there any specific marketing strategies which your company uses? If you could, again, share some secrets if it's possible. So how do you optimize your marketing thing?
Sure, I can take that. Our marketing strategy is strictly compliance driven. Since we need to be, so since we're a regulated company, we need to be compliant with all the regulations we have worldwide. So there are many markets that doesn't allow us to offer our products direct to the customers. So in those cases, for instance, we adapt our products to be educational, or we do handle that market through introducer business, so IBs, and we try to focus our marketing on a more indirect approach in this kind of market, because, for instance, there are many markets that it doesn't allow to or prohibit forex trading or forex as a marketing product. So we always start from the compliance, and then we move on to the marketing part of it, and then we try to identify how we can tackle that market. And then, of course, there are cases that we just can't, so we don't do it.
Hands
Uh,
tied sometimes.
yeah, there are countries that, you know, we always follow the restrictions. So there are many restricted countries, for instance, that we don't offer our services at all. We do try to be more to create more promotional marketing instead of selling the product itself, which also has a good strategy to bring more clients and customers.
I see, I see. Yeah, we all know that marketing team is very creative, with full of ideas, etc. But sometimes we need to tell them like, guys, sorry, we cannot do this. Yeah, I see. Yeah, got you. We definitely understand you at this point. Because earlier we spoke about human involvement, and we know that people are the engine of the companies. All people, right? Every time without people, company can do nothing. That's why we need to have very compatible, very responsible, and very, let's say, knowledgeable employees. So in terms of that, do you have anything in place how to measure or optimize employees' productivity regarding like different departments maybe, and how did you do that with your scaling? Because whenever you hire more and more people, it's kind of hard to control them. So would you mind sharing that?
Yeah, no, it's not just only Lucas that is data driven. Well, our company is data driven. So,
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
For
we
sure,
try
yes.
to measure and record everything. Since, from the hiring perspective for employees, how long it takes for someone to make an onboard, uh, to, how many clients that support person, for instance, is contacting every day. How long does it take to solve an issue from a client perspective? Um, we do have a few KPIs defined and that we use to organize our strategy throughout the company, including, operations, dealing, marketing, and of course IT as well. Um, we try to establish processes between the channels as well. So we do have a lot of, integration between marketing and supporting, or marketing and dealing team, and dealing and supporting. So they act together in many cases. So we also try to track those times and quantities, and we load that into a system to, analyze
Measure,
how
analyze this.
we're doing if our customers, because we are a customer centric company, so we try to focus on the best approach ever for our clients. So it's
Sure.
client first, and then we look into the company.
Yeah.
So we try to establish, process and KPIs to monitor the performance from a client perspective, not only from a company perspective.
I
But we
see.
know that a client doesn't want to wait 35 minutes for a response on a support ticket.
Yeah,
They want
sure.
an instant response, right?
Definitely. We all
They
live in this world whenever you just load in the page, and if it takes more than 10 seconds, that's it,
Yeah.
So yeah, it is. Yeah.
So understanding this whole flow of costs as well, because, acquiring clients leads is very costly. So we need to have KPIs in place to be able to track the costs and understand what makes more sense from a marketing perspective, for instance, where we have to direct our investments to, define a steady growth and a healthy growth, because it doesn't help as well to target a market, invest tons of money on that marketing strategy for that market, and being a market that just brings problems, only issues with clients. We want healthy clients, and we want a lot of clients, and we want to provide them with the best possible service. So we try to scale by automating most of our tasks, if possible. Whenever we can find something that can be automated, we will automate that, because we want to give the client the fastest response.
And the best experience. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, makes sense. I see. Yeah, like as much as I'd love to tease you with more questions, I know we have like short time, and in that case, I'm so sorry, guys, but I will switch over mic to Sergey, because maybe we would need to sum up, or maybe we would like to ask any advices. So yes, Sergey, please.
Yeah. Thanks, Ina. Thanks, Loe. So, I mean, you started at 2024, and it's fascinating how much success you had in your operations by now, because you're a fast-growing company. There's have been just like a year and a half for you to scale, and you're already an international company. You're working with a lot of companies, working with a lot of countries and different kind of jurisdictions. What single advice for a broker would you give for running their brokerage in 2025, or maybe and what to be prepared in 2026?
I would have 3 key points for any broker out there. If you want to scale, you can't do everything, right? You don't need to have 5,000 different assets to attract clients and attract customers. You need to provide a simple and good service for the client. So keep it simple, right? Another important thing is look for good partners. It is a very competitive market, so you need to be surrounded for good partners. That's that's a very, very sensitive point in this industry. So
can I take it as a compliment? What do you think?
Yes.
Okay, well.
And lastly, but not least, and I think it's the most important, be client centric. You won't have a business if you don't have clients. So client first. Try to find a differential for your client. Try to be that reference for the client. So if you want to succeed in the market, you need to be that broker that the client will say, well, this is where I trade. You should go there because they have the best service. That's our aim. Be the one that clients speaks of.
Cool.
Thanks so much, Loe. One last question, actually, and I cannot just not ask it, because like AI is in our lives forever, I believe, right now. But how does AI change your internal
Oh,
and how did it change your life in business?
Sorry, Sergey.
You frozen for a while, but from what I understand, you're asking about AI, right? How did it change your life?
that was the question. I'm sorry about that. The connection.
Sergey is a fan of AI. He can't live without that. So
I see that AI is massive trend now, not only on the broker market, but everywhere. Right? You can't walk on the street and don't hear someone talking about AI. The thing is that AI has been with us like the last 15, 20 years, right? There's AI in the market. It's just that now with the LLMs, everyone has access to it, and it brought a lot of different ideas and all. But more on our market, I would say AI will play if it's not playing already, right? There are a few outliers there that are already using it, but AI will play a major role on risk analysis, by maybe forecasting situations, because you can, based on the data, forecast what's gonna happen. And AI is amazing to do that. And machine learning protocols will ace on that. So I would say that AI is gonna be applied on the risk management strategy for sure, the coming year.
That's why we will make you happy soon, right, Sergey? We have some secrets.
Well, of course, stay tuned, and yeah, we will represent these new instruments. I believe soon. Yeah. Thank you so much for our interesting dialogue. Just to wrap it up, this has been a intense year, and in order to gain success in brokerage operations, you have to stay resilient on how you are managing instability and unexpected situations. You have to have that armor of tech, consisting of tech and people and the skills that you hire inside your brokerage firm. And for that will be a foundation for keeping your business safe in this such a volatile market. And of course, regarding global growth, this is about, first of all, being simple, focusing on your strength points. And what we learned from today's dialogue is it's about partnership, trust in partnership, and having reliability in your partnership landscape, and also being customer centric, building trust, localizing your operations just to be clear and transparent to the customer, and giving them the expectations that they are looking for, actually. This has been a wonderful dialogue. Thank you so much for being with us today. I hope our audience has learned a lot of insights from this dialogue, and it will help them in their business and their and scaling and saving their brokerage operations safe. Um, Having a complete risk management tool in place on this is very important. Brokerpilot provides comprehensive risk management software for any type of multi asset brokerage, and we would be sure love to talk about these topics in our upcoming events. So stay tuned, and thank you a lot for watching.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. I'm waiting for all the interesting guys on the demo. So, and Loe, Lucas, see you on our next exhibition. Thank you so much, guys. And we will keep in touch for sure because we are
Yeah.
communicating almost every day. Thank you.
Thanks
Have
so
a
much.
wonderful
Thank you.
evening, everybody.
You
Thank
too.
you
Have a
so much.
wonderful evening. Bye
Goodbye.
bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.